Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Authentic Online Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Ruthie Gray. Welcome to November. We made it. In case you haven't heard, I released a book last month called Empty Nest Awakening, Weaving the Threads of Your Passions into Purpose. And thank you for joining me today. I had a great book launch, and I've been sharing in the last 2 episodes about how you can do the same thing. So in episode 90, I had just released my new book called Empty Nest Awakening, Weaving the Threads of Your Passions into Purpose. If you haven't gotten it yet, why ever not? It's on Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, Target, Walmart. It's everywhere. You'll really want to get the print version, though, because you can write in it. It has space for questions. It has a great feel to it, and you're going to love it. Pick it up for yourself or a friend for Christmas. Anyway, had to do it. So if you're just joining us, the last few episodes, we've been talking about my book because it launched on October 17th, and the launch has gone really, really well. And so I've been sharing tips for how to prepare your audience and launch your book successfully. As a refresher, in episode 90, that was the day of the book launch, and I shared about the book and about a little bit about the launch. Episode 91 was 3 reasons to self-publish, which I did. And then episode 92 was 7 marketable book launch tips for Instagram users. So you'll want to go back, especially to that last one, if you are interested in launching a book well, and listen to that episode. But today, we're talking about how to reverse engineer your launch. Why are we talking about that? Because way before I ever launched my book, I started building my platform. So today I'm going to give you 10 tips for reverse engineering your launch, because these are based on the things that I did starting out. Oftentimes, authors are just building their Instagram as they're releasing their book or right before it. I had the opportunity to build a long runway and build my platform first before I ever decided to release a book. Releasing a book was in my far vision, not my near vision. But if you've been listening for any length of time or reading my newsletters, you know that I felt impressed of the Lord that this was the year to write the book, which I did. But I'm thankful that I already have my platform. So what I'm trying to tell you is build your platform now. Wherever you're at, whatever stage you're at, start building that platform, because you never know what God's going to ask you to do. And then that way, you'll have people that want what you have to give. And here's how to do it. Listen in.
Welcome to Authentic Online Marketing with Ruthie Gray. Growing awareness for your blog, podcast, book, or product involves more than dancing to reels and yelling, "Buy my thing." This show models quality over clamor so you can put your spin on your message and market in a way that feels authentic to you, because nobody wants to sound like an infomercial. And now, here's your host, Ruthie Gray.
Okay, so this episode is going to be really fast because what I'm going to do is list the 10 things that I did, and I'm going to give you a podcast to back up each one of them. And these links will be in our show notes so that you can tap in and listen to each episode, and each episode number is given as well. By the way, you may not know this, but we have over 130 episodes. It looks like this is episode 93, but it's actually not. We've been doing this way longer. We actually had a season 1, and I'm going to refer to a couple of episodes from season 1. Now, season 1 was released back in 2020, so a few things have changed. You may hear me refer to a few terms that are no longer used. You will hear me refer to a course that I no longer provide called the Go Live Jumpstart Kit. In one of the points, I'm going to talk about something that is no longer something that you need to do on Instagram because Instagram changes a lot. And there are also terms like IGTV, which now all video is reels. Even if you go live, it turns into a reel. So all video is pretty much reels. Anyway, if you hear anything about IGTV, just know that we're talking about reels now. Some of those podcasts in the earlier days will refer to some terms that have changed. Here we go. How to reverse engineer your launch in 10 ways. Number 1, be consistent with posting. Episode 87 covers this, mastering platform consistency, the key to growing a super engaged following. Platform consistency is the number one thing that I hear more than anything else, keeping Instagrammers from growing and not being consistent. So the first thing I did was get into consistent posting. And the way I did that was by using a scheduler. And I would get my content ready every Friday, and then I would pop it into the free version of later.com, that scheduler. That was my favorite one. It's still my favorite scheduler. And so that way I knew 3 or 4 times a week, I would be having a post go live and it was already planned out. So that's the first thing. Get consistent. And you can hear ways to do that in that episode 87. Number 2, engage on social. I became a master at engagement. If you've listened to my initial story or even read my book, you know that I didn't understand the point of going and commenting on other people's posts because I thought if I posted, people would come. That is not the case. Social media is called social for a reason. And so once I got that through my head after I quit Instagram about 3 times, on the 4th time, I thought, oh, okay, well, I need to go find my community and engage on Instagram. And so I did that. And I became a master at engagement and leaving value comments and sharing other people's content too. Episode 21 is the one I want to reference for that. From season 1, the audio isn't as wonderful as it is now. Keep in mind, I was an early podcaster and I didn't have the number 1 best mic in all the land. And sometimes I flubbed up and was using my laptop mic instead. So I suspect that's what happened on this one. But anyway, it's still really good content. So go listen to episode 21. That's back when I was Instagram Insider Hacks. And it shares 3 overlooked Instagram hacks to boost engagement and keep them coming back. Number 3 is start an email list. You got to do this before you even think you need to do this, is start an email list. And one of our top listened to podcasts about email lists is episode number 9, Effective Newsletter Opt-ins for Email List Building with Sarah Geringer. And she gave some fantastic tips. So if you haven't listened to that, or if it's been a while, or if you're trying to come up with a new opt-in, go listen. Number 4, go live. When you go live, you start establishing trust with people because they see your real mannerisms, how you talk, how you look, and you can interact with people. You can have people on live with you, but also your followers can watch your live and they can comment and they can ask you questions and you can answer their questions about your content or your level of expertise. And this does help build trust. That is something that I did very early on, and it worked out really well. And it's something that I always do with my launches too. I don't go live as often as I used to, and I would love to have the time for that. But now that my audience is established, I use lives for launches. But you can use them anytime. And I would advise that if you haven't done it, that you should go live. Our episode for this is episode 66. Gain organic followers with live video. Number 5, share stories and behind the scenes weekly. So in stories, I always advise followers to share some behind the scenes, not just your feed posts. You can share your feed posts, your posts that are in your feed, but you can also talk about them a little bit in stories and elaborate and show them where that inspiration came from. But also, more than that, you want to share your real life. Like I share my walks in Florida. My husband and I, the other night, took a walk and I took some pictures of the blooming trees and the palm trees and him walking in the distance and his label, the guy who does everything, because he does. If you read the book, you know that too. And people love that kind of stuff. Those are my most watched stories, are the stories that are from my life and showing my grandkids and them learning how to ride bikes and me taking my mom somewhere on a ride and visiting the doctor's office, things like that. So that's something that you want to do, is share stories weekly and share those behind the scenes. In episode 41, What to Share in Stories, is a great one for that. Number 6, poll your audience in your stories. From season 1, episode 37, we have how to drive Instagram traffic in stories. Always poll your audience. Start out with polls that are from your behind the scenes, like your evening walk or your morning walk, and ask them if they take a walk too in the mornings, yes or no. You just want to start on common ground, some kind of established common ground with your followers. That helps create community because they start connecting with you. And the more your followers start connecting with you, the more you can bring them in to connect with others and introduce them to others that you share their content. Use the polls in stories, and then eventually you can use that for user-generated content to see what they want to learn more from for you. I used polls and stories to help name my book, Empty Nest Awakening, also to help decide what was going to go into the book. Look up season 1, episode 37, or just tap it in my links here, how to drive Instagram traffic and stories. Also, I want to point out that there is no need to use hashtags in stories. You can use them, but there's not really a need to use them. If you want to create an awareness for a town or a city in your stories, just use the location sticker and use that location in your stories. All right, number 7, know your audience. This really should probably be the first one, but a lot of times you don't know exactly who your audience is when you're first starting on Instagram. And I didn't either at first. It really helped me once I did know my audience to be able to target that much, much better. And my audience, for those of you who are just joining, are mostly women ages 45 and up, who are building an Instagram presence and email presence and marketing. They're looking for help for how to do that. That is who I deliver to. And it's also for those who are also running a business and needing help in those areas. Know your audience, episode 16, why audience clarity is the key to driving traffic from your bio. Number 8, collaborate and share others' content. Long ago, my friend Krista Hutchins of Do a New Thing reached out to me and showed me what that's like to collaborate and build a lateral community. Lateral community is where you support each other, people who complement your business. Maybe they're even in the same industry. Share each other's posts and content and affiliate for each other. And Krista taught me well how to be a good affiliate and to grow my lateral community. Episode 47, the most effective way to build your Instagram following is linked here. Number 9, be authentic. Building an authentic Instagram platform without compromising your calling is from season 1, episode 31. That's the name of our podcast, Authentic Online Marketing, because you want to share your real self so that your audience can get to know you. They can do that through you sharing yourself on live video and through stories, like I said, behind the scenes, and just by sharing reels of yourself. And video is really great for that. But I'll let you listen to episode 31 to hear the rest. Number 10 is to be generous with your audience. Deliver value to them. Take the time to give them some insider tips. Anybody can Google stuff to do on Instagram. Okay, so I'm not really giving away insider tips when I tell you how to do something, either in my posts or in stories. People can Google how to build an email list. People can Google how to build followers and how to start monetizing. I pride myself on giving value content. I don't give away my strategy or my secrets. Those you can get through coaching with me or inside my communities, such as Authentic Online Marketing School, which, by the way, is launching again on Black Friday. So sign up for the AOM waitlist. I will put it in the show notes as well. Authentic Online Marketing is the perfect blend of Instagram and email marketing. So you want to hop on that so that you can get in the community before January. That was a little commercial there. In episode 72, Grow Your Author Presence on Instagram. And it was a conversation that I had with Kent Sanders of the Daily Writer podcast, not the same conversation that I referenced last week. This is totally different. And he was asking for advice for what to share on Instagram and how to build his platform and his followers to engage with him. I think that you will enjoy that as well. So there you have it. How to reverse engineer your launch. So number 1, be consistent with your posting. Number 2, engage on social. Number 3, start an email list. Number 4, go live and establish trust. Number 5, share stories and behind the scenes weekly. Number 6, poll your audience in stories. Number 7, know your audience. You're going to know your audience if you poll them in stories, by the way. Number 8, collaborate and share others' content that grows your circle. Number 9, be authentic. And number 10, be generous with your audience. I can't wait for you to listen to these episodes. If you're overwhelmed right now, pick the number that you need the most and go head to that episode today, right away before it slips your mind. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast today. Be sure to join us next week. And until then, be sure to share your message, your way, in your own authentic voice.